Coming from a married couple who investigates all things supernatural, most people forget one side of investigating, the everyday human side. Before investigating, they had to learn everything that's involved with cases, all the while balancing their marriage, family life, friendships, and work life. Twisted Ascensions brings an inside look at how their marriage works on and off cases, spreading the knowledge they've learned over the years about trauma, drug abuse, dealing with spiritual gifts, protection work, and so much more. Dive into the world of a paranormal couple that doesn't shy away from hard questions, but rather offers raw and unfiltered answers. Listen to the good, bad, and ugly stories of various topics and hear from other investigators, past clients, and colleagues within the field. Now, your host of Twisted Ascensions, Caden and Alyssa Mask.
Welcome to the Murder Folks, coming to you live from the Hollows of Mississippi. My name is Caden.
My name's Alyssa.
Did you forget already?
I did.
You did. You forgot already.
I did.
Hey, listen, we're just a married couple doing this crazy paranormal thing
With our daily lives.
And, you know, we did everything hard, so you didn't have to. And that's kind of what this show is all about. And tonight, as you can see, we've added a third one with us. So, if you're new to the show, I'm Caden. This is my wife, Alyssa. We are paranormal investigators. Been doing this on and off for quite a few years now. We don't just cover ghosts. We also cover cryptids. We cover ufology. We cover faith folk. We cover a little bit of everything. And tonight we decided, because a lot of people have asked over the years and a lot of people have discussed it, but I have yet to see, other than two, I've yet to see anybody bring on their kid and just ask them questions. So that's what tonight's all about.
I've seen them do like their significant others if their significant others aren't in it with them.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, we already do that.
We already do that.
It together,
That's like our thing. So this is our mini-me. You want to say hello?
Hello.
Introduce yourself.
My name is Asher. I am 10, and I am the son of Vissen.
Just leave me out of it.
I ain't gonna leave you out of nothing.
So tell them how old you are. Oh,
He
you did?
He did.
You got a birthday coming up. We are a Valentine's Day baby, and you will be
11.
There you go. So,
Yes.
Ask your questions. You already know we're an open book. Naturally, our kid's going to be an open book as well. So, any and all questions that you have, ask away. I'm going to read them off here to him, and Asher's going to answer the questions. So, you're the star of the night. It's not me and Mom, just you.
We're just here for
No
for the ride
pressure.
along.
Don't get us canceled.
I'll try.
All right, so why don't we start off easy, and then we'll, kind of go along with it, okay?
Okay.
All right, first things first. What is it like having me and Mom in the paranormal field?
I think it's a very interesting thing to know that your parents talk to spirits on like a daily basis.
Okay.
And it's really cool because you get to have parents that get to tell you about all this super cool stuff about cryptids, extraterrestrials, spirits, malevolent entities, and stuff like that. So I believe it's one of the coolest things that you could ever have as a kid.
You think having parents that do that's one of the coolest things you'd have as a kid? Oh, we are winning.
Right.
We are winning.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that answer.
So we'll get to some stuff about you and things that you can do later on in the show.
Okay.
But all right, so you think it's cool. Do any of your friends or classmates, because you're in school, you go to public school, do you have issues at school because we do what we do? Or do your friends, are they scared of it? Or do they think it's cool?
Or do they make fun of it?
Or do they make fun of you or make fun of it?
You don't have to say anybody's name and don't say anybody's name or anything like that, but
I'm going to be completely honest. I haven't told nobody crap about y'all.
Okay.
Okay. Well, some of them know only because they have.
Yeah.
I mean, you still live a normal life, even though this is what we do.
Very much so.
Another portion of our life, like we have told everyone, is still very much normal.
Mm.
So we have a child that's in public school. That child has friends. People come over. They sleep over. He goes places. Like, it's a very normal cycle of raising a child.
So is that your own choice, not telling them?
Like, do you choose?
I mean,
not
I
to?
know 2 of your friends know.
Yeah, 3. I know of 3.
I just know 2. Okay, so
3.
I know 3 of your friends know.
Mm-hmm.
Do those 3, were they scared about it at first, or do they just think it was cool?
The ones that do know, were they afraid, or did they think it was just cool?
I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah. It's like saying my dad delivers mail for work. Is it the same thing? Like, it's just they don't think anything about it. That's pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So, all right. What do you think, like when me and Mom have to leave to go on public hunts, so like not helping clients, but like we just go when we meet the Jenners and Meg and Kev or whoever.
When we travel far off.
Travel, like to go to Monroe or to Wildwood or something. Do you think that that's cool that we get to travel? Does it upset you that we have to travel?
Not really. I think it's really cool that you guys get to go on all sorts of different adventures to different places in the country, and I'm sure soon enough y'all will be traveling out of the country.
You think so?
For new hunts and stuff.
You think so?
So, I believe it's one of the coolest things that you guys get to travel around the country, soon enough around the country.
Yeah.
All that.
That's party foul.
Live bloopers.
Oh, that's a blooper for sure. My goodness.
Go studio.
Well, if y'all just seen something go, it's because Alyssa just tipped over our little studio light. I can see clearly now the rain is gone. Yes, you may.
Hey, Uncle Robert.
Dawn's in there too. Me.
Everybody's here. That's good to know.
That's it. All right, so you've been raised in the paranormal
for a majority of your life.
Majority of your life.
Well, I mean, all of it, but actively for a majority,
Yeah. So, in your opinion, because a lot of people have asked you this before, so a lot of the questions I'm going to ask you are repetitive. You already know, or we've talked about it. What do you think is the most? If somebody was to come to you, one of your friends, okay, and said, Asher, I think what your parents do are cool. I really want to get in it. What should I do first? In your opinion, what do you think somebody needs to do first if they want to get involved in the paranormal field?
One thing you should probably know is how to defend yourself. Like, there are
It's okay.
All right.
malevolent entities that can cause harm to you, and there's no doubt in my mind that that can happen. So you want to, it depends on your religion in a way that you can defend yourself. Like, if you were to be a Christian, you could use a crucifix, or you could pray to an archangel or somewhat like that. Or if you're in Norse paganism, you could pray to a Norse god like Freyr or Tyr. Another thing is you should know the knowledge of what you're dealing with. Like, if you're dealing with a malevolent entity, a fae folk, cryptids, extraterrestrials, you need to know what you're dealing with before you just come out of nowhere and say, you know what, I'm going to help this person.
Didn't expect all of that, but that was awesome. Okay.
Okay, so they need to learn how to protect themselves. And you made a great point that, and people think, well, protect myself. They just immediately go to like the crystal shop and pick up crystals, or they jump on, witchcraft and have no knowledge on it. So what you said is right. You have to know your beliefs in order to do a protection ritual or spell or whatever you want to call it to protect yourself. So that is right. That is a very great answer. Is there anything else that they need to do before they just go out and start ghost hunting? Do you think, or is that pretty much,
It's
they
pretty
think
much
that's
all
like-
I think.
You think that's one of the first steps to it is learning?
It seems we got
How
a
to protect
question
yourself.
from the comments here. What is my favorite topic in the paranormal field? Well, I am personally interested in cryptids and extraterrestrials because I believe that those are some of like the coolest types of things that you can get invested into. Because cryptids includes Bigfoot, Loch Nessie, Mothman, Owlman, stuff like that.
Do you have a favorite cryptid? If so, who is it and why? Or what is it and why?
I have to go with Bigfoot and Sasquatches and like whatever you want to call them because they got so many different kinds of them. There are tribes, all sorts of stuff like that. Like there's tribes that goes from Kentucky, from Ohio, and like all the way down from here.
Like tribes of Bigfoot, Big Feet, whatever you want to call them?
Big feet.
Big Feet?
Big feet tribes.
Big Feet?
Big feet tribes.
They go, wait, okay, start over. They go from Kentucky and Ohio?
No.
Or Ohio and Kentucky and down?
Okay, imagine this.
Okay,
Ohio and Kentucky are here.
okay.
There's a line that sort of goes through the Appalachian Mountains area, and
Okay.
it stretches down to what
Stop laughing. I'm learning something.
To what-
Me
Continue.
too, right?
you could call from West Virginia or Virginia period because it's got all sorts of different kinds of Bigfoots there. Got red-haired Bigfoots, grassmen, night stalkers, stuff like that.
Nice.
So that would be like your first adventure.
Like
of
when you get
diving
older,
in.
you decide that you want to be a cryptozoologist. That's what you want to study is Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm.
In that general
That's
area.
the first thing I want to
Okay.
study. I want to study all sorts of different ones too because another one I really like is Mothman because he has been spotted in multiple places. Like he's been
Mhm.
spotted in the Golden Gate Bridge, wherever the heck that is. He's been spotted in the UK. He's just everywhere.
Now, you do know that I worked with the team that oversees Mothman.
Correct.
Okay.
Mothman is just a really cool dude because he's got them big old
Wait a
red
minute.
eyes.
How do you know it's a dude just because it's called Mothman? What if it's a female? Or what
Can
if
I
it's,
not just
what
call
if
it
it's
a dude?
neither?
Listen, let him live his life,
I am.
Mom.
I'm just asking.
Let him live his
like,
life.
Okay, so sorry. Sorry.
Continue, son. Everybody saying hey, hi.
Yes.
Miss Todd's saying wow.
Mr. Robert, that is correct. They are everywhere. They are just they're in Australia. Some are in different countries too because
But they're
I'm-
called different things in different countries. right?
yeah, like correct me if I'm wrong, Uncle Robert, but in Australia I'm pretty sure you guys call them yowies or something like
I
that.
think that's right.
I think,
I think that's right.
And
Yeah.
I've heard that in Australia they like to break down branches and stuff and build little huts.
I have heard that as well. Down here, they're either wood boogers or skunk apes.
Correct.
Yeah.
There have been. I've heard of a sighting of a wood booger once.
He said, "Yep, yowies."
Yeah.
Just wanted to
You
be
were
sure.
Right. High five
Good
for
job,
that.
dude. Okay, so what about? Okay, let's go off this. We're talking about cryptids, so we'll stay on it for a little bit until somebody else asks you a question.
Urky.
Do you think, because there's a lot of debate in cryptozoology, whether the creatures like Mothman, Bigfoot, the Wendigos,
Stuff like
insert other mythical creatures here,
that.
that they are-
Unicorn.
that they are, the debate is whether or not they're multidimensional or interdimensional, whether they're just like flesh and blood, like a dog or something, or like
With a beating heart.
with a beating
Yes.
heart. In your opinion, what is your theory behind cryptids?
So cryptids, in a way, are sort of like just a whole free for all, like like a melting pot. There's all sorts of different kinds of cryptids. Like with Wendigos, it's more of an Indian or Native American
Folklore.
sort of like a folklore thing, because a Wendigo is something that has resorted to cannibalism, and then they just
Native American ties. Is that what you're saying?
they're pretty
Okay.
much turned into madness, all that. and they mutated. Enough about Wendigos. But like I said, I think that some cryptids like Bigfoot and such are most likely related to this realm because scientists have confirmed that there's a whole different multiverse out there. Like, there could be a universe where you got that promotion at work, or a universe where your dog is teaching you, or a universe where your cat isn't actually a butthole. So I believe that there could be some... Alright, imagine this. This line represents other dimensions, like over here, and this is our dimension.
Okay.
In our dimension, we've got some cryptids that I think are native to this realm, like Wendigos, which I probably think are from the spirit realms, but I'm just gonna hook that here.
Okay.
Bigfoots, which are probably just humans wearing a costume or something, I don't know. And stuff like that.
Okay.
But on this side, we probably have cryptids that I think came from other realms. Mothman could be an extraterrestrial, because there have been reports of extraterrestrials that are kind of like bugs and insects. So it could be like they leaked into this realm, because I think there could be different leaks in this realm, like Daddy's told me about before. Like, there are staircases that lead to nowhere and doors that are just in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, that make no
It's like
sense
portals.
in
Vortexes
our
are
realm.
portals.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think Bigfoot is an extraterrestrial that can travel through space and time? That is a good question, Mr. Todd. Hold on a sec.
We're parched. We are parched.
Yeah, parched.
Saying all that has hurt my tongue.
That's okay.
Bigfoot could be an extraterrestrial, but I highly doubt it, because they could be traveling through space and time, because they are somewhat semi-intelligent, you know.
Well, gotta be if nobody's found a body.
Right.
Exactly. So, like, Bigfoots are very intelligent. They know how to communicate with each other by banging on trees like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they've created tribes, so they're kind of intelligent. They're intelligent in a way, but they're not like human intelligent. Like, we know how to go to the moon. Still, aliens are more advanced than us.
So, and to wrap up that part of it, so do you think that they are extraterrestrial or not? No, but you do believe that they can travel through realms.
Most likely, because I know for a fact that they know things that we don't.
Oh, yeah.
They
That is true.
know things that we do not.
Yeah. And you also know most people, well, not most, a lot of people who have seen Bigfoot in the woods, either before they see them or after they see this white light, like a white orb. So you're traveling through universes, creating a portal or vortex. I mean, that could be.
I have a theory about that. So I'm sure most of you guys know about wormholes, and if you don't, let me just give you a brief
breakdown.
A brief history lesson. No, not a history lesson. Quantum physics lesson, I should say.
Okay.
So, you know the Bermuda Triangle, how planes and stuff go through there, and then they just come out somewhere else. That's what wormholes are. So they walk into they fly into the Bermuda Triangle, and then they go through a wormhole. And wormholes can either take you to different dimensions or different parts of the world.
Okay.
Or our world.
So big in theory, then Bigfoot would be able to create.
A wormhole is something where it can be a human being, a plane, a car, that Toyota that you leave in your yard that can go through a wormhole. So, there's two things that can happen. One, it can go to a different dimension completely unlike yours, but I don't think that's ever happened to a human in recorded history.
Okay. All right.
or it could just take you to a completely different area, which could kind of explain Yowies, Uncle Robert.
Okay.
Very well, good. All right, so let's jump off of this subject. What about ufology? What about that entices you? I mean, are you just intrigued with it because you
What
think it sounds fun?
ufology?
Ufology, extraterrestrial study of UFOs.
Oh, extraterrestrials are highly advanced. We know that for a fact. They're flying around in planes that can go into space and look like plates that your grandma made when she was little.
Mhm.
And they can go pretty fast too. So, extraterrestrials are kind of simple, yet they're highly advanced. My theory about extraterrestrials is, I presume you guys know about what's the word?
Slow down, it's okay.
Okay, hold on a sec. The Mayans, yeah, I couldn't get the word out. I was thinking about an ancient civilization, but I couldn't get the word out. Mayans and stuff were highly advanced. Like the older civilizations, you got your Mayans, you got ancient Egyptians. So the Mayans had calendars where they could tell the time through rocks. And you gotta be pretty smart if you can tell the time through rocks. Hey, what's the time? It's high noon. How'd you tell? Looked at that stone. You sure? Yeah, I looked at a rock. If you need to see a mental hospital.
Okay, well that is very cool. I like that. So let's jump off to one of your favorite subjects because you have had a lot of mentors. Your very short life that you have lived so far. You have had many short but full. You have had mentors with mediumship. You've had mentors with astral traveling. You've had mentors with geology. You've had mentors with protection, and a little bit of mentorship with religious practices and beliefs.
You love to study those.
Yes.
Especially Norse mythology. I just love that stuff.
Now, I know that your favorite subject, though, out of everything, is your crystals and your rocks. That is your thing. You love geology.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Okay.
Gemology. Is it gemology or
We got
geology?
gemology and geology. Gemology.
Gemology.
You like your stones and your crystals, okay? Okay. We're all on
like
the same
my
page.
rocks.
You like your rocks, okay? You're a rock man. So,
I'm like
tell
Uncle
me
Robert.
your opinion. I'll put your beliefs aside and just think about both sides of the spectrum, okay? So we're going to take your beliefs, put them aside.
Just put them aside.
Yep, just put them aside. There are two different people in this world. Ones that believe that stones and crystals do have metaphysical properties to them, and those that believe that do not. Now, you being the science guy that you are,
Bill Nye,
the science guy.
Bill Nye.
With you, what solidified your beliefs that rocks and crystals have those magical properties on them? Personally, what was it? What was your aha moment that you're like, wow, this crystal or this stone really works? Do you have a story about it?
Actually, yes. So this is when we lived back at the trailer in Corinth, Mississippi, and I was having nightmares constantly. I could not sleep without having a nightmare. Most of them were falling. For some reason, once I had a dream where I was falling, and I fell from one of the cliffs in SpongeBob for some reason. And so, Mama suggested I used a crystal, specifically amethyst, that just so happens to be my birthstone. So, I put it under my pillow, and at first, I was kind of suspicious. I didn't think just a rock that looked really pretty was just gonna make my nightmares go away like
Mhm.
tearing a piece of paper apart. That's the simplest way I can put it. But after that night, I just woke up and I had the sweetest dream ever. So I just sat there, and when I woke up, I just sat there in my underwear on my bed
Paint the picture for him, son.
thinking, my life is a lie. If a rock can change the way your state of mind works, then I have no doubt in my mind that crystals and geology and such are obviously one of the best things that has ever existed.
Okay, but why? So give me 3 good reasons why you think that.
Well,
you want a little help? Because I see you're getting nervous.
Yeah,
no,
it's
I
okay.
got it. I got
Okay.
it.
Okay, that's cool.
Gotta keep my calm. So, crystals, as I just explained, have
He did it, and
many different properties to them. Like, they got different properties. Some help with bad dreams. Some just help with calming.
Mhm.
And some just look pretty to put in that necklace that your wife gave you, but then it was empty.
All right, we have 2 minutes before
Before our break.
So I'm going to ask you one more question. I'm going to let you answer quickly, okay? Okay. Has any stones or crystals been proven by scientists to have metaphysical properties?
I do not know.
You do not know. Okay. That's perfectly fine. So this is a good part to stop so we can grab a drink, grab a little break. So if you're just tuning in, my name is Caden. This is
I'm
my wife,
Alyssa.
Alyssa. This is our kid, Asher. He is our little protege. He is, Mr. George brought up a great thing is that, he is not allowed to investigate yet. But as you can tell, he has been learning
His whole life.
His whole life. And so tonight is all about you guys asking him questions, you getting to know him, and him getting a feel about it. And I have a feeling that after this, you're going to get a lot of really cool things happen to you. Really, really cool. So with that being said, don't go anywhere. Stay tight. We're going to be right back. Mr. Todd's taking us out to break right now.
Want to keep up with the latest at the station? How about catch up on your favorite shows on the go? Download the free WLTK-DB mobile app on the App Store and Google Play. Watch, listen, and shop right from the palm of your hand. The WLTK-DB mobile app. The truth is here and now. Get yours today.
And we're back. And we literally just flew in on the seat of our pants. Okay. So if you're tuning back in, this is Twisted Ascension, a show all about us being a married couple. Tonight we have our kid. Me and Alyssa are involved in the paranormal field in many different aspects. And tonight is all about our little mini-me right here, our little protege. Reintroduce yourself.
My name is Asher. I'm 10. I was born on Valentine's Day in 2012. And I have these 2 weirdos as my parents.
That's right.
But I still love them.
Well, I'm glad you
They are
did.
awesome.
So where me and his mother are more spiritual and more a belief based when it comes to the paranormal. We're a little bit scientific, but not to the extreme. Asher here is more on the scientific side of things. That is his go-to. That is his forte. And if you missed the first part of this show, you're going to have to go back and watch because when I
Yes.
tell you, we were sitting here learning stuff that I didn't even know. And you're definitely going to want to rewatch that. So we're going to dive right back in because you have a couple of questions that I'm going to ask you from some of our audiences, okay? And Mr. George said that you are one cool dude.
Well, Mr. George, thank you very much. I want to tell everybody that thank you so much for the positive stuff, and you need to keep it up because y'all are being pretty cool.
All right, so
Pretty cash money.
there you go. I don't know where that came from, but okay, that works.
How do you mean?
All right, so Miss Lisa wants to know, what is the best stone for calming?
Miss Lisa, I believe would you like to tell me what kind of calming you are looking for? Are you looking for
Let me just sit on back. Go
Right.
ahead with your bad self, sir.
Are you looking for calming for like the new job because you need to get that raise? You having nightmares? I need to know the situation here.
Okay, so
Why don't we break it down?
yeah, what
'Cause
it was.
it may take her a minute to respond.
What about like nerves? Like for your nerves, calm
Anxiety.
your nerves, anxiety.
Not only is amethyst good for bad nightmares, but if I am correct, then I do believe it's great for calming nerves and anxiety.
What would you pick? Would you pair it with anything?
I'd say just a smoky quartz or any normal type of quartz would work.
Okay.
Yeah, so she said anxiety.
Amethyst and any kind of quartz, I would suggest
Together.
pairing them is a really good idea because you don't just want to have one. Two would clear your head and all of that.
Okay.
Thank you for the great question, though.
So with those, because I know you know, but some people may not know when it comes to carrying around crystals and stones. With those two, are those two ones that you would carry around you, like on your person, or those that you need to place around the house? I know the answer. Thank you, Mama knows the answer. I know you know the answer.
I forgot the question again.
Okay.
That's okay.
She's wanting something for anxiety. So with the amethyst and the smoky quartz or the clear quartz, are those the stones she needs to carry with her throughout her day, or are those that she leaves at the house in her, like underneath her mattress or in the windowsill?
You can leave them at home because you can do them both because they both have the same effects. But I'd suggest bringing them around because having them on you
For anxiety.
is
right?
connecting them on you is like connecting them with your energy, and that gets you more attached to it, and it helps you clear your mind and stuff like that.
Okay, so
Well,
when
we have two more great questions that follows in with that.
Okay, go ahead.
So she's wanting to know, how does
That's
she
what I
need
was-
to carry them?
Well, I was gonna, when you carry yours, like there was a point in time where there was a rose quartz and a clear quartz that you carried specifically for exams, and you carried them in. There were several ways you carried them. You carried them in your pocket a couple times. There was a few times where they stayed in your jacket, and there was some other times I want to say that you had them like in your backpack or on your backpack at school.
So which way did it help you most with your
Yeah.
anxiety?
I remember having crystals as a necklace once, and that really got my head and my blood pumping.
Yeah.
And that really helps a lot if you have something that you could get attached to, like a piece of jewelry, earrings, a necklace, a ring, something like that.
So it needs to be for anxiety. It needs to be close to your heart chakra. So like on a necklace.
Mhm.
Okay, that makes sense.
Do
Alright.
you refreshing your crystals you carry daily?
So yeah, Dawn's asking, do you need? You know how we cleanse our crystals? You have to cleanse your crystals. With the ones that you carry on you daily, do you need to clean them daily or just during the full moon?
Cleaning them daily can help. It's a good idea to clean them daily, but putting them out on a full moon is a really good idea because it charges up their energy a whole lot. Where can you find real crystal?
I'll answer that one. But let's go back to that. So cleaning them daily. It's been a while since we've talked about this, but do you know, to let her know, a couple of different ways that she can clean her crystals?
Well,
Cleanse her crystals.
one way to clean them is you could put them, well, the way you clean them daily, and the same with doing it on a full moon, is you put all your crystals in a small thing of water that they can all fit in, make sure they have space to breathe in, and you leave them out for a day or a night, if this is an example for a full moon. It's pretty much just how you clean them.
Okay, so that's using water. Now you
Well,
gotta add salt to it.
Well, he uses moon water,
Yeah.
so to him it's just water because we keep so much
that's
of it.
right.
Like it's just another thing.
Okay, do you know another way to cleanse crystals other than water? Let's go through the elements. What about earth? you remember?
You could leave them out in a circle, couldn't you not?
We could. That's a little bit more advanced. So
Yeah.
with earth, you would bury them.
Mhm.
Just remember where you buried them.
You can't just walk. Where did I put my crystals?
Exactly.
Then you just walk around on a sharp obsidian arrowhead. I
Yeah.
would not suggest doing that.
Yeah.
It hurts.
So that's earth, and then fire. Do you remember?
You never told me how to do it with fire.
So with fire, you take the crystal and say this is the flame. You just rub them over the fire. And that would be cleansing. Also, Lisa, with water, just because I know about where you live, you have a creek, I believe. So you can also cleanse your crystals daily by taking them out there and letting the creek water, the spring water, run over them. That'd be a good one for you as well.
You know, when you do it, you can, if you have the intention of clearing them, cleaning them, just like if you're wiping a table and you see yourself wiping a table, in your mind when you're cleaning your crystals, even if it's a basic thing with just water, you need to see yourself cleaning them.
Yeah, you also have to be careful and do your research on your crystals, because some crystals cannot be put into water. Some cannot be mixed with salt water, especially. They'll just dissolve. So make sure when you do get your crystals that you do your research to see which ones can be used in water, or you could just bury them for the night and then, the next morning. And then Lisa, where you can find real quick crystals, because I know where you're located. In Jackson, Tennessee, there's a store called Charlotte's Mystical Web. That's where we get a lot of our crystals at. They're the only ones nearby that I will use. So, and they're great quality. And there's some other stuff in there.
Asher has some that he's mined at different places.
Should only be the type that will not melt in water. Yes, like selenite. Put them in a net. Absolutely. So yeah, I know with the amethyst and the smoky quartz or the clear quartz, you can cleanse them underneath the natural spring for sure, without any issue. You good to go? You okay?
I was just dancing.
Oh, you okay?
You okay?
Well, do you want to drive for a little bit? What's something that you would like to talk about?
Well,
or what's some questions that you've been asked in the past that you think would be great for the show?
Ooh, I have one.
You have a question for me, do you now, Mother?
I do. You've heard us talk about fae folk a couple of times, but you've never really, you've shared your interest in it a couple of times, but it always stems from cryptozoology. So what do you think about it? Because there's not a whole lot of it around us in our location, but there are places all over the United States that have a lot of cases of it. So I want to know what you think about it. Do you think that it ties into other things? Do you think that it's an entity all on its own, like a whole nother spectrum of the supernatural? What do you think about that?
Well, it's a difficult question, Mother, but I don't really know what to think about fae folk. They're just kind of cool in their own way, and some of them are just kind of a bunch of buttholes.
Okay, so but do you think this? Because to me, it kind of goes hand in hand. Even though you and Dad and a lot of the people that Dad works with and talks to are very much into Sasquatch and Bigfoot and Mothman, well, do you think that those beings and a majority of the fae folk beings are one thing, or do you think that they're separate?
Like classified as the same?
Yeah. Do you think it's the same little level of things? Yeah.
I think fae folk are most likely interdimensional.
You think so?
How? Because I understand Bigfoot's existing in this dimension.
Mm-hmm.
They could be like a spin-off evolution of monkeys or silverback gorillas. I'm presuming
don't
you know
have
what I'm
some.
talking about.
Yeah.
Well, Fae folk, I believe,
Sorry,
could
we're so ornery tonight.
I do believe that Fae folk are most likely from another dimension or another realm.
Okay.
So they're going to work on a different frequency.
Right.
Because I do not have the foggiest idea on how a little person with wings could live in this kind of dimension.
Okay, but we've had cases with them, so like I know that they can exist on this dimension, but like I was just curious if you thought that they originally stemmed from this dimension. Do you think they were multidimensional?
We answered that.
I
Multi-dimensional.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. That's why I was just reiterating
Reiterate.
why I asked the question.
Bye, Miss Lisa. You have a great night. Also, thank you, Uncle Robert, for
The big word.
The big word.
the ancient evolution of primates. Thanks for that, fellow prehistoric man up in here.
That's it. That's it.
Ah,
Okay,
Hey.
so let me ask you this. We talked about, your classmates, you don't really talk about it. I know you have
Yeah.
some friends that do know they don't care. Like
Mhm.
it's whatever to them. To you though, do you ever want to be in the field? Do you think, as of right now? I mean, I know as you get older, your mind may change, but as of right now, do you have any aspirations to be in the paranormal field?
I only have one question, or I only have one answer to that, and the answer is yes.
okay.
Now, I would like to drive this minivan for a little bit.
Go for it.
So, I'm sure most of you guys watching this have heard of Nessie. She's one of the more older cryptids we know because she lives in Loch Ness and she was first spotted in the 1800s, I think. But my theory with Nessie is, a few of you guys may not know this, but there was an ancient prehistoric marine reptile called the Plesiosaurus. Its body was sort of shaped like this, and it had fins on the bottom, and its neck was long like a giraffe's, and it had that little reptilian face. So, you know the Ice Age, correct? The Ice Age froze a lot of things. There was a full-on mammoth that got frozen, skin, fur, and everything.
Mm-hmm.
My theory is Loch Ness has been known for a good paleontology site, correct me if I'm wrong, but Siberia has its permafrost and such, so who's to say Loch Ness doesn't have permafrost or something? I presume permafrost means the thing where it gets trapped in, I think. I don't know.
Well, it's a layer of ice.
Yes, I think that's how it got stuck in there.
We have the Marina, I think it's called the Marina Trench. It's the deepest part of the
I don't know.
Marinara.
Something. That trench that actually is so cold at the surface that it's almost like the frost. And that's why they had hard problems getting through that barrier, because it was so cold that it was making their equipment freeze over and malfunction.
See, but you think that's your theory on Nessie?
Nessie is probably just a plesiosaurus that melted and said, "Where the frick am I?"
Okay.
So, I have some theories about the ocean. I love the ocean. It's a beautiful place. There's so many different species of sharks and fish and stuff. But the scary thing about the ocean is people know more about the surface of the moon than we know the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah.
And that's kind of scary because we do not know what could be at the bottom there. There could be mer people at the bottom watching Stranger Things or something.
Okay, so do you believe that mermaids are real?
Who's to say that they aren't?
Valid.
I mean, Fae folk and Bigfoot exist, so who's to say that mermaids don't exist?
Very
or
true.
mermen?
Yeah.
But the scary thing about the ocean, like I said, is we don't know what could be at the bottom. And I have some theories about the Mariana Trench because it's a very scary place, we know. It's all frozen. But there have been some sightings that are sort of linked to the megalodon.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure most of you guys think, oh, Asher, the megalodon is an extinct creature. You need to study. I say you should be quiet for a second. But
You got your dad jokes. You okay?
I'm good. That was all you that just came out of there. That was all you. Wow. Okay, I'm taking back over the minivan.
I wasn't done yet.
Oh,
okay.
well, finish your thought.
Okay, but megalodons were able to survive extreme stuff because they lived in an ocean during a time where everything was hot, everything was rainy, it was humid, and in some areas it was so cold that your blood would probably freeze.
Okay.
Like living on Pluto. So my theory is, since Bigfoots probably evolved from the Gigantopithecus, which is basically just a big old monkey, who's to say that there isn't a type of megalodon that's down there?
I mean, true.
And if we're talking an evolved version of the Gigantopithecus, Bigfoots are on a larger scale to that. The scary thing is, if it did evolve, that means that the megalodon is bigger than the ancient ones. You're welcome for a Fear of the Ocean.
Well, there you go. All right, so here is my next question. And it's more or less like an introduction. So we have 45 minutes before we go to break. So we got a while. 40 minutes.
That's a
we
lot.
We have a while.
It's a lot of time.
So why don't you tell everybody? Because they know that your mom is gifted.
She's a medium.
And we've talked about her gifts. So why don't you introduce yourself, your gifts to them, and let them know kind of things that you are capable of doing, that you have done,
You're not allowed to
and
do.
that you're not allowed to do.
You're not allowed to do very many of them.
I only
at
know
this
one
time.
thing that I'm allowed to do, or the only thing that I've ever actually done, is seeing into the past.
We'll go
Because
further into it.
once, so when I was littler, it was just a normal afternoon, and all was right in the world. We were at the trailer, we were eating Taco Bell, and my parents wanted to, maybe experiment with my medium powers for once, because we hadn't ever used it before, correct me if I'm wrong.
We weren't experimenting, we had just come home.
So
when we came home from Monroe.
I decided, so they asked me to...
Let's stop right there, because you're missing a very important part to that story, the context.
So the context is, I'm a medium. That's somebody who can see into the past, and they're gifted, and they can do all sorts of stuff. La, la, la.
But why, when we came back from Monroe, what did you tell us? First things out of your mouth.
Do you remember? You don't remember?
Mm-mm.
It was a long time ago.
You had already known what had happened to me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we wanted to test if somebody had shown you our live videos, or if it was truly you that knew that I was attacked. So now you can get into that part of the story.
All right, let's get into the nitty gritty, shall we?
Do you remember why you were asking us questions? Like before we delved into it to see if someone had showed you.
This has been 5 years ago, guys.
Yeah,
So
and he's 10. So
I was 5.
I remember it because it was terrifying. So like, I mean, as a parent, I remember it. But I don't know if you do, and I don't want to lead you into it. So I'm asking, do you remember like what prompted that?
No.
Like the questions you were asking, or what you were saying, or how you acted when we got home?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Well, then just go with what you do remember.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Uncle Robert, you said that you saw me at the Monroe house for a small amount of time. What
We'll
do
get
you
into that
mean?
later.
We'll get to that later.
Okay. So I'll get back into the nitty-gritty as I was saying. They just got home from Monroe and they brought home Taco Bell, so I was pretty happy. And we were all eating, and like I said, we tested out the thing. And they told me to look into what happened at Monroe. And I went to Monroe in my mind. And I know that sounds like something out of Stranger Things, but it's not. It actually happened.
What's the name for it?
Astral traveling.
Yes.
And I was actually able to see what was in there. I was able to walk down the stairs. I saw a picture of Donald Trump.
Or who you thought was Donald Trump?
He thought it was Donald Trump.
At the time, that's who he thought it was. It's not who it was, but I can see how he thought that. Anyway.
And then I walked down the stairs. I went into the living room and I saw Daddy getting all scratched up and stuff. And when you're 5, you do not like to see your parents getting brutally attacked by a malevolent entity, because that's not something you do not want to see when you're 5. So I just started crying, and they pulled me out of there as soon as I could.
And we put a big boulder on your...
Well, to add some more context on the adult side of things, that he
boulder.
didn't know what was going on.
We'd been gone for a few days.
Yeah, we'd been gone for a few days. We went to the murder house. That's when I was attacked. When we came home, Asher, even now, he's not allowed to watch us when we investigate. He's not allowed to watch the lives. Everybody in our group knows that if we're gone somewhere, don't be watching when Asher's around. So when we came home, he gave us a big old bear hug, and he started
upset.
Yeah, he was crying and said that he knew that I was attacked, and he was pulling my shirt down to like see the markings and stuff. And me and Alyssa were instantly upset because we thought somebody let him watch, and I didn't want him to know. After very short amount of time, but very intense amount of time, we realized that nobody showed it to him and that he was able to see things, because some of the things that he said that he saw wasn't even on camera.
No.
So we called Alyssa's mentor and my mentor at the time, Donna, who was our astral traveling mentor, and we had her
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just...
Okay.
astral travel. We had her astral to our house to tether herself to Asher, and then Alyssa was tethered to Asher as well, just to keep him safe. So it was a very controlled environment. It was very safe for him. And that's the only reason why we did it, because we wanted to see that it was the first time that we, without a doubt, knew that he was capable of doing something. And we had to know to what extent. And that's when we found out that at the age of 5, our son could astral travel with the pros. To
And like that.
Yeah. No meditation, no taking a time for breathing. He could do it with his eyes open, and was there and was telling us everything that was on the walls, that was around, what piece of equipment was going off at the time, who was where when I was being attacked. It was very...
What shoes people had on.
Yeah.
Like...
It was in depth, and he did get upset because he did see the entity that attacked me, which at that time is whenever we pulled him out. Alyssa and Donna both shielded him. I won't even say that, Robert, you were there for that one as well. We shielded him, and then later on, as his parents, me and Alyssa decided that we were going to shut that side of him off until he was older. And we did all the steps that we were supposed to do to shut that down. So he can astral travel. He's just not able to access it until he's a certain age right now.
There have been, since that time till now, there have been small things that have happened. They weren't astral traveling things. They were more of a, I don't like using the word mediumship, but Just more coincidental. I don't
Good,
know.
bro?
Are you okay?
Are you just reading?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's seen things, he's heard things, he's felt things, but we have tried to keep him as safe as we possibly can. So we just keep him away from a majority of that. He is allowed to read. He's allowed to study if he wants to study. All of the scientific parts of everything, he is allowed to dive into as much as he wants.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't restrict in our house when it comes to knowledge, but we do restrict experience and
Until it's safe.
Mom. So yes, it we allow him to go or do whatever he wants to do with the paranormal field. He can ask as many questions to us. Of course, he always has Uncle Rob, which Ozzy Rob will be his mentor when it comes to astral traveling, and he's already his mentor for stones and crystals and healing aspects of it as well.
In my opinion, Ozzy Rob is the coolest guy on earth. He may be down under from where I'm at, but he is the most awesome person y'all will ever meet.
Yeah. So we're trying to do everything on a very age appropriate level when it comes to this, but there's just some things that we can't control. We can't control his gifts as far as whether he has them or not. We can only control if he can use them
To an extent
or not. So you're
but he does have a plethora of people who are, they're at his back. They know what he looks like in all different areas. So like it's easy to make sure that he is protected.
At the time of the Monroe House incident, I did not know it was Asher until later. Now, however, if I see him, I will be yes. You better.
Yes.
That should be cut for another,
couple years.
We got about 5 more years to go.
Couple years.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. So we're talking about gifts and mediumship and astral traveling and such of that nature.
Yes.
Okay. So, what do you think when it comes to how do I word that? Okay, when it comes to investigating, okay, like Mom's a medium, me, I'm just me,
Just plain old dude.
just plain old dude, just plain Jane dude. When it comes to mediums, what are some things, in your opinion, that is the pros and cons of being a medium and a paranormal investigator?
Well, there's a bunch of pros, a bunch of cons. So,
right, well, let's go through just a handful of pros.
All right, so the pros are, number one, you will be able to do a lot of really cool stuff, like going into people's minds, traveling back in time with your mind, and stuff like that. But the cons are very many. Number one, if you walk around saying you're a medium all the time, people are just going to be giving you weird looks like,
devil worshiper.
You okay?
Okay, what you mentioned going into people's minds.
I've never done that, but I know it can happen.
Okay.
And I don't want to do that.
What are the rules, though? You don't what?
Invade people's privacy.
Yes.
I don't think that is a very good power. I would say that's a con. People have private thoughts. Thoughts are private. People shouldn't just be invading your thoughts. Like, I have a lot of thoughts I do not want people coming in and sneaking up on. That is not okay.
No. Okay.
It's not just okay to pull up on somebody's mind and just know that on Tuesday they were eating a bacon sandwich even though they were supposed to be on a diet.
Very valid. Very valid. Okay. Excuse me.
I feel that.
Luckily, he cannot dream walk yet. We're kind of hoping that wades out later on in life. That's for sure. That's for sure. So, what do you think is the coolest part about me and Mom being investigators?
Well, the coolest part is I get to have parents who don't just force me into one thing. They allow me to let me know my religion, actually not be forced into something that I don't want to be. They tell me things and they don't lie to me. It's just good to have truthful parents and people who do something cool and help people out for a living.
Does it bother you when people constantly call us?
Even though we don't do it for a living.
Yeah.
We don't make any
You
money.
don't
Have you
constantly-
ever felt like, well, we don't now, but
We did for a while.
when we first started, did it ever hurt your feelings that we were gone so much, or like we weren't paying attention to you?
No,
You can be honest, because some people, there may be another paranormal couple watching right now with their kid
And they're struggling
and
with
they're
it.
struggling. So you can be honest.
I'm gonna be honest. Once or twice, I felt like I was being a little neglected, just a smidge.
Because we had to leave a lot.
But now I know that you guys are helping people and you aren't just going around neglecting me. It just feels good to know that your parents help people by talking to ghosts.
So
That's awesome.
What is the downfall of having us as paranormal investigators? If you have any. I mean, you can be honest with it.
It's okay.
Do you think that there's any downfalls to your life personally that we do what we do?
The only con that I think that would happen is a bunch of people are probably going to think y'all are Satan worshipers. But you know what I say to those people?
I'm scared.
Kiss my unclean rear end.
Oh my God.
That's our kid. In case you didn't know.
You need to respect people's religious and life choices.
Well, there you go.
Don't be a racist.
Oh, goodness. Prejudice. Prejudice is the word you're looking for.
Yeah.
I'm still going to call it racist.
No.
But that's not right.
That's
not
it
right.
is what it is.
Prejudiced.
There you go.
Okay, there you go. So, all right. Let's move. Thank you for that tangent.
Yes.
They can definitely tell you are every bit of me.
Yes.
So, wow, I had a question and it was like a fleeting question. It just went doom.
Gone.
Courtney said, "I love you, kid."
Well, thank you, Miss Courtney. Although I can't exactly remember who you are, though.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
But
It's okay.
I thank you for your positivity. Your
So,
profile picture's pretty cool, too, though.
oh, here, I remember now. What are your opinions? And I'm going to ask you some grown folk questions, okay? So put your
I'm a very mature child.
Okay.
So I can
Okay,
handle
child.
this.
Okay. Put your grown folk hat on.
I'm gonna need to be
Oh,
hard on
ow.
that then. I'm a grown folk now.
Okay. Well, yeah, look at my hair. Okay. So, yeah, no.
Yeah.
Okay. Grown folk questions. We're going to ask you questions that we get asked.
Okay.
Does that work?
Yep.
Okay. Mom, do you want to start off with one?
Oh, I don't know when. I haven't had to think.
And
I can
guys
handle
in the
it.
comments, y'all can feel free. Courtney, Rob, anybody else that is watching that I can't see your name at the moment,
I
feel
can't
free
see
to
anybody
ask
anymore.
questions. He is reading your questions, and I promise you, if you haven't figured it out by watching, he's going to answer. Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about it. I'm a very mature child. I'll take
Oh,
whatever you throw at me.
You were killing me with that.
Honest Abe,
Yeah.
we're
me.
a little ornery tonight. We do apologize.
Hit me with your
But-
best shot.
Oh my
Okay.
God,
So
he's yours. He's
So-
yours.
I don't know. I got to think about this one. You just sprung that on me, and I really got to think.
Okay,
about it.
what is your theory on spirits? Are they, let me finish. Are spirits what people call ghosts?
Mhm.
Is there a difference between ghost and spirits? Let's start with that. Is there a difference between ghost and spirits,
I'm gonna need
in your opinion?
I'm gonna need a bit of my thinking juice for this.
I'm gonna need a big my too.
So, ghosts and spirits are pretty much the same thing.
Okay, so you don't distinguish between the two.
To you, they're the same.
Overall, they're pretty much the same things. They're spirits that just didn't cross over. Or some of them did cross over, some of them didn't.
And they
Well,
came back?
that's a distinction. You know, some people, I'm not saying all, but some people think that ghosts are earthbound spirits,
Mhm.
like spirits that haven't crossed over or haven't ascended. And some people think that spirits are those that have ascended, but are just here for a lesson, I guess you could say.
No.
They're here for a purpose.
That would make sense, although I do think that the distinguish is a bit more complicated than that.
Okay.
Ghosts are people who,
In your opinion, this is your opinion.
had trouble, in my opinion,
There you
are
go.
people who probably had trouble trying to cross over, and they're stuck here for some kind of for some trouble that they had in their past life.
Like trouble or trauma.
Troubleshooting their trauma or trouble, like they're in trouble. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, are they troubleshooting and
both.
trying to figure it out?
It just depends on the situation, mother.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, spirits are what I would say ghosts that crossed over, but just came over to our realm
Are you itchy?
for some weird reason. I don't get why you want to come here.
That's valid too.
Yeah.
But they came here for a purpose. Maybe they wanted to come and see their descendants and see what their bloodline is happening, see how their kid did on the exams.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so here's your next grown question.
I got one.
Oh, you want to go first?
I got one.
All right.
So we're not going to talk about the whole simulation thing,
I'm
but we
gonna-
are.
While they're coming to my head, I want to
Okay.
write it down.
I do want to ask, do you, because I know how my faith is, like how my belief system is, and all three of ours is vastly different. Yours is still processing, like you're still growing in what you think and believe and how you feel about things, which is totally freaking
I
awesome.
really like Norse mythology.
That's
like, a
cool.
lot.
I'm just saying, like, you're still growing in it. Like, you're too young. We've already told you, you're just too young to form a solid opinion about all of that, right?
Masta
So-
just got in a shadow.
What do you think about, like, I don't like calling it reincarnation, but like lessons, people, you get reborn here. So, I mean, I guess it would be called reincarnation if you just got to give it a name.
Let's give it a name.
Okay. So about coming back to this plane, to this earth over and over and over again for lessons, like you get reborn and you got to keep coming back until you fulfill what you're supposed to fulfill. How do you think that that's a real thing? Do you think that once you die, you're dead? Do you think, what do you think? What do you think about that?
I have a very solid answer for that, and all I can say is it just depends on your belief system.
Okay.
Okay.
All right,
Fair.
anybody in the comments, I would just like to say that you guys should fire away with y'all's questions because I'm ready for anything. And I know, Uncle Robert, you gonna have some very mature adult questions for me to answer, but I can handle that because I am a Southern mature child.
Todd, you sure about this, buddy? Are you sure? What happens when you astral travel while you're still in full regular consciousness? Do you know what that means? Do I need to break it down? a
No,
little bit more?
I got it.
Okay.
So if you're still in full regular consciousness, I'm not exactly sure because I've only astral traveled once. So
Do you remember what happened when you did that though?
I remember I had my entire consciousness set on going to that one place. But if you're still in consciousness, like you're thinking on something else, it's not gonna happen. Like if you're a medium and want to go somewhere, you have to really focus on it. You can't just be thinking about what you're going to order from McDonald's while you're thinking about that you want to go to Asia or something.
Okay. So my rebuttal to that is, like, when Mom and Robert and Donna, they can astral travel and still do things in the real world without leading you into it. How do you think that they can do that? Do you think that their body goes into like a autopilot, or do you think that they're able to multitask? Like, think of being in Asia and think about this plane at once? How do you think that works?
So I think what happens is while you're astral traveling, you leave your body behind. Your brain isn't in consciousness, but it's still telling your body that it needs to do what it needs to do. Like it tells your heart that it needs to keep pumping. But what happens is you take your full consciousness that you've been focusing on to where you're wanting it to go,
Okay.
while your brain is still there and there's still a bit of consciousness left, and it's telling your body what it needs to do.
So you think, which that I believe that same way too, as far as your brain and consciousness and how they're all intertwined and what they do. So you also think that our brains are literally just like a physical part of our body. Our consciousness and our soul beings and such are opposite of that, like they are outside of that, correct?
What was the question again?
Quit reading.
You quit reading.
Quit
You listen,
reading.
Listen to your mama.
Okay.
Listen to your mama.
Like, do you think that our consciousness, like our soul consciousness, is here? Look, our soul consciousness is here, and then like our brain and our physical self and conscious is over here. For me, or I don't believe that they're together, which you already know that. I haven't taught you that that's what anything is. I want you to figure that out on your own. So I'm asking you, like, do you think that you could separate those? And that's how people like I and others who are able of, as Dad put it, going in autopilot. Like, we're still doing the things in this world that we have to do, but we're capable of a certain part of us leaving and going somewhere else while we're doing those things.
Now that question is quite confusing, but my answer is
I asked a really loaded question. I'm so sorry.
But my answer is I'm still
learning,
loading everything back on what my theory was last time.
Okay.
Looks like we got something in the comments from Aunt Callie.
Do you worry about your gifts when you think about the future, or are you excited to explore it for yourself?
I am really excited to explore it because there's so many opportunities you could do with being gifted and being a medium. There's so many opportunities you can have for the future. You can just be have such a good living by being a medium. And I'm not saying that people that aren't mediums can get a good living. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm trying to say is, if you are a medium, you have many opportunities for the future because you just have so many different ways that you can cause good things to yourself, and you can cause good things to your others.
To others.
Yeah, to others. With your mediumship, because there for a minute, I thought you were going somewhere else.
I did too. I was like, man.
But
that's okay. Proud.
You're your own person. It doesn't matter which way you do it. However, do you think that you would use your mediumship to profit, or do you think you would use your mediumship to help more? Which one do you think is going to be your main drive?
Yeah.
Helping or money?
I'm going to be honest. I don't really give two fricks of a wooden nickel about money. I want to make sure people live a good life around me. Because just caring about yourself is going to end up getting you in some really bad places.
Okay.
Because most of the world leaders who are selfish and only care about themselves got themselves in some really deep crap holes right now.
Yeah. We're going to drop that.
We're not going to talk about
We're not going to talk about that one.
So I'd say that I would rather help people with my gifts instead of just
That's funny.
letting people, or instead of just making money off of it. Sure, I'd like to make a little money off of it, but I want to make
Well, that's
sure
understandable.
I want to make sure to help people too, because I just don't want to be taking people's money for absolutely no reason at all.
So how does it make you feel when you see people who are true or not mediums taking advantage of somebody's grief, or they're charging a crazy amount of money to help somebody? Do you have an opinion on it? Or if
I
you
do.
don't, you can just say no opinion.
I have an opinion.
Okay. Choose your words carefully though, okay?
Yes.
Okay, listen, I don't want to be rude to any mediums out here who are actually doing that, but in my personal opinion, I want to watch what I'm saying, but that's just not right to take advantage of somebody because you're more gifted than them in a way. That's not okay.
All
You
right.
can't just do that. If you're going to help somebody, you can help them. You got to make sure you get at least a little money off of it, but you can't just charge them a crap ton of money that they have to pull out of their rear end. But it's just not okay to take advantage of somebody because you're gifted than them. And taking advantage of grief is something that happens in modern day society a lot, and it's just not okay.
I get it.
I got
There you go.
Time for a sip because I deserve that.
it.
You do, buddy. You do. I'm going to ask you one more question, and then we're going to take a break after your question. We're going to take an early break because I think we're going to bow out of here just about 10, 15 minutes early so
Yeah.
that Mr. Todd can get ready for the next show, okay?
Okie dokie.
Sound good with you? Okay, so my question, because let's see. Yeah, Courtney said her mom's bar is actually called the
The
Wooden
wooden
Nickel.
nickel. That's cool.
That was a cool little quinky dink.
Yeah.
So I guess I just flipped your mom's bar.
There you go.
Yeah.
That I didn't mean to do that. I'll pay for it.
Okay, so do you believe, because we know that there's a lot of teams and individuals out there within the paranormal field when it comes to ghost hunting and dealing with spirits that are so driven by science they want to prove it. Do you think, that science will ever be able to prove the existence of spirits and ghosts?
I don't know where scientists have been because they need to catch up. Ghosts exist, and I don't want to be mean to any scientists watching this, but y'all need to catch up. Ghosts exist, and that's just a simple and plain fact.
No?
And I am throwing that out there.
So do you think, well, then maybe you need to study quantum physics and metaphysical science so that you can be the one that proves them with scientific equipment.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So all those scientists out there who think ghosts are just non-existent, one day I'm going to get to laugh in all their faces.
Think so? All
Mm-hmm.
right. Well, just remember the little people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotta remember the little people too.
Gotta remember the little people.
I remember the little people.
All right. So, you know what? I'm going to ask one more question and then we're going to go to break because I expect you to take a little bit longer to answer, but
I
you were
just
like,
he is bam bam.
catch up, son. Catch up, scientists. And for my buddies who are scientists.
I remember you too, Aunt Callie. Can't ever forget you. You made that awesome buffalo dip that one time.
All right. So this one is because I know what we've taught you and I know what you've read and I know what you've heard from your other mentors. In your opinion, what do you think are the different types of hauntings out there? There's classifications. What do you think they are?
Well, for one, there are multiple classifications, but here are the ones that I'm going to throw out there in my opinion.
Okay.
For malevolent entities and their hauntings, my nickname for those are spookies.
Okay.
For cryptid hauntings, We're just gonna call them forest friends. That's simple.
Okay.
Spookies and forest friends. I'm digging these.
All right.
And for just spirits who need help, the nickname, or it's more of a code name, helping the old lady across the street.
Okay.
Spookies, forest friends, and helping the old lady across the street. I'm digging these.
Now,
names.
before we break, we got a personal question here by Miss Courtney. Okay. What is my favorite hobby or sport? I have multiple hobbies, actually, but I'll just list 2.
List your top 3.
Or my top 3. My 3 is I like to read a whole lot, as I'm sure you could tell by now. Number 2 is I like to study up on different kinds of subjects like mythologies.
Well, we'll link that one into your book
That's
reading.
the same as reading.
I like to play on my PlayStation 5 every now and then. And I like to draw a lot.
Yeah, but your Legos is kind of your gig.
Yeah, I like playing with my Legos. Maybe one podcast I'll be able to show you guys one of mine. Or one of my drawings. It'll just depend.
Okay.
Well, thanks for that good question.
We're gonna take an early break. I'll let you go get your book, and you can show them your mythical creature. Does that work?
Yeah.
Does that work for everybody? Awesome. Okay, so in 10 seconds, we're gonna go to break. Stay tuned. We're not done yet. The night's not even done because after us, we have a phenomenal show coming in after us with Todd Bates and Nicole. They're gonna do Haunted Voices next. I believe it's Jacob Rice. And someone else is coming in after us. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Todd, take us out, man.
Come see our new station shop for some amazing top quality merchandise. There is something for everyone, like blankets, electronics, clothing, and much more. Head on over to WLTK-DB.com and click Shop to show your support by sporting our logo. The WLTK-DB Station Shop at WLTK-DB.com. Paranormal talk is our business, and business is good.
Here. Okay, and we're back. We're playing Ring Around the Rosie.
Sorry, guys.
Alyssa's having to step out for a second, so it's going to be me and the kid. I thought you were going to show him a drawing, not your book. Go get your drawing.
Okay.
Go get your drawing. So while he's going to get your drawing, if you're just tuning in, please go back and rewatch the show because I'm telling you, my kid, which is the little mini me that you just seen running out, he has been a hoot and a half tonight. Lots of knowledge that I didn't even know that he retained. Tonight's all about his perspective, how he feels about having me and my wife, his mother, as paranormal investigators, his thoughts on the paranormal field, his aspirations for the future for himself. Did you get it? Mm-hmm. Okay. So find just one that you really want to show him, and then we'll show him. And then if you guys have more questions, please keep them coming because I'm telling you, you are making my kids' night for sure. If you miss portions of tonight's show, though, you can always go back and watch on Facebook, WLTK-DB, Talk Show Radio, the group. There's also a WLTK-DB app. There's also YouTube, Podbean. You can catch us anywhere and everywhere. You know, I tell people all the time, if you're not tech savvy, because I'm not, if you simply go to Google and type in Twisted Ascension, Todd has hooked us up. I'm telling you, there's going to be 1,000,001 ways, and tomorrow he's probably going to find 1,000,002 ways to get this podcast out there and other podcasts. There's so many great podcasts and great individuals on the WLTK-DB family. We have a lot more coming up. I'm telling you, we are rocking and rolling. Todd has been getting it, and it's going to be amazing. Like I said, tonight's not over. After our show, we have Haunted Voices next that comes on every Friday. Todd and Nicole do such an amazing job with that. I'm telling you, you can always learn something. Just stick around, set those notifications, because if you don't learn it from one show, you're going to learn it from the next show, and then you're going to pick up more information, and it just keeps going. It is phenomenal. Phenomenal. All right, you ready to show them?
Yes.
I'll hold it up, and you can tell everybody what it is.
This is a drawing I worked pretty hard on. It is something from my game. It's called a Teostra. It's basically a giant fire lion with horns, and it's also known as the Emperor of Flame. It's pretty cool.
Very cool.
You can look it up on Google. It's just a pretty cool looking thing.
Here. I'm gonna move this one and let you sit in Mom's chair.
Oh heck yeah!
Does that work?
Yep.
All right. So bear with us. We're playing Ring Around the Rosie just one more time. We're gonna get in here. We're gonna have to scooch in. Okay, and we are back.
Thanks, Miss Courtney.
So now then, I said if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask in the comments. We're gonna cut out in about 20 minutes because, like I said, Todd's show is next. I want to give him plenty of time to discuss that. Asher, you good? Are you having fun?
Was that a question?
Yes.
Well, yes, right back at you. I was trying to do something cool.
What are you trying to do?
I was trying to say the never mind.
Okay.
Thank you, Miss Jenner.
It's
Now,
cool drawing. Yeah, it is really cool. Okay, so I'm gonna ask just a handful more questions until we just run out.
we're just gonna dump out the entire.
Yeah, we may just fall on the.
Bottle
We're
of-
just going. What we're gonna do is we're gonna fall on the floor, and Todd's just gonna end the show.
We're
I'm
just
kidding.
gonna.
I'm kidding, Mr. Todd.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna fall on the floor though.
Yeah.
We're just gonna pour out the whole bottle of Fireball wine,
Yeah.
or it's
Yeah.
not wine, it's
It
whiskey.
happens. It happens. Okay. So, those of you who don't know, me and my wife's a medium. We practice, we're kind of eclectic. We are, what?
Courtney asked a question.
Yeah,
I'll
we'll
answer
get to in
a
just a second.
second.
Okay?
Just didn't want to neglect her. I don't want to be that kind of guy.
It's up there. We got it. It's not going to go nowhere. We are omnistic. We practice a lot of different belief systems depending on what we're dealing with. And one of the questions I want to ask you is,
Me?
yeah, because of where we live and where you grew up, where me and Mom grew up as well.
Mississippi.
So, what do you think whenever me and Mom have to do I have to do like a certain spell for somebody? Does it bother you? Has it ever bothered you? Is it something that you're just not sure of? Like spell working. Has it ever bothered you? Does it bother you?
Spell working is a complicated process by what I've researched. And it's honestly not really, it don't really bother me that you do that to help people. It's as long as you're helping people and you ain't trying to turn nobody into a frog, I'm okay with it.
I get it. And Courtney, to answer your question, he's not allowed to astral anymore. When we found out at 5 that he could, we had to do certain things to cut that cord of his until he is older. So that way he couldn't do it unintentionally. So that part of him got frozen in a sense and will be thawed when he gets older. But he retained his mediumship and other gifts that he has, just not the astral traveling gifts. We cut it because that's a lot harder to protect and to shield from, as opposed to being able to see and speak to deceased people or elementals or things of that nature, because he's been taught how to protect himself and he knows what to do and what not to do, right?
Yeah, just don't go running at a Bigfoot. That ain't a good idea.
You back? You good?
I'm done coughing for a
Oh, okay.
I know of.
Okay. Do you want to squeeze back in?
No, I'm okay.
Okay.
It's just gonna be me and Betty for a while.
Yeah, buddy. The
The
dude.
2 men.
The dude show.
Yeah.
The dude show. Okay. Wow, that was awesome.
No, it was not.
I was say, wipe your face.
It happened.
It happens. Do you know how many times I have done that? A lot.
78 and a quarter.
Okay. Out of all of mine and mom's clients that we didn't tell you exactly what happened, we kind of gave you the gist of it. Do you have a favorite place that me and mom have gone to, or a favorite client, or just something that stuck out to you that you're just like, it's going to be imprinted in you?
Not really, but I really liked the time you guys went to Indiana because it's a really awesome place and it's got a lot of history to it. And I hate that people like to stereotype Indiana. The only thing that they did wrong was hide a bunch of Demogorgons.
You just had to put in a Stranger Things reference, didn't you?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I did.
Okay. That works too. That works too.
Besides, Indiana is actually a really pretty place.
It is. It is.
Although it's a bunch of corn.
Is there anything, if you could have one superpower, what would it be and why? Just one. One superpower.
The ability to go to the past and the future. Because you could go to your future and see what it's like, or you could prevent horrible event, or you could go back in time and stop horrible events from happening. And
Okay.
Uncle Robert, you are absolutely correct.
Naturally, Stranger Things need to be included. Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But yeah, it has to be the ability to go back in time and going into the future too, because the future is cool, and so is the past. The past has got a whole lot of cool stuff in it.
Yeah.
Like,
I have another question that I wrote it down before it came out of my brain. Hey, you are a guest on my show, sir. You don't get to tease the host.
we're both weirdos.
That is true. Okay, here's my question. It's kind of a loaded one. Okay.
I'm fine with loaded teas.
All right. So because we let you retain your mediumship without giving out names, okay? We can't give out names of deceased. However,
No names.
no names.
No name.
However, when they do come to you, do you see them to tell them apart, or do you feel a different type of frequency to tell them apart, or do you just
smell?
hear them, smell them?
I hear people my deceased loved ones by different frequencies and by different hearing too, because every now and then, so when I don't know how to explain this, but I'm pretty sure when you're a medium, if somebody gets deceased, you can sense their presence, and I can feel their presence when somebody. It's
Okay.
mostly like maybe 2 or 3 days after somebody's been when I start feeling something,
Okay.
and now it's only every now and then.
Does it scare you?
No, I just think it's cool that if you have a loved one, that you can still feel them and know that they're not completely, not absolutely, just
Gone.
nothing.
Yeah. Have you ever been scared of it?
No.
Have you ever communicated with somebody that was not related?
I'm
Or have we done pretty well about keeping that at bay?
I'm pretty sure it was this one time I thought I heard somebody say, "You need to hush." I don't know who it was. It sounded like some random.
At this house?
No, I was just walking down. I think we were in downtown Mississippi. I was with my nana. We were in some clothes store.
Okay.
And I heard somebody say that you needed to hush. It sounded like an elderly woman's voice.
Okay. But you don't know if it was paranormal or not because you're in downtown?
Mhm.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense. So it doesn't, we've established it doesn't frighten you. And do you think that it doesn't frighten you because you have me and mom? I'm not saying that me and mom are all that in a bag of chips, but do you think you feel safer because of me and mom, or do you feel safer because of how you have been trained to deal with it?
I feel safer around you guys because I know if something wrong happens, I have people to turn to, so you guys can tell me how to fix it.
Yeah, well, that's very true.
Uncle Robert, what do you mean? What do you mean by the Mothman?
He's making a joke.
Ah,
He's making a jokey. Okay.
I was gonna say I ain't gonna turn to
He
no.
has you both to turn to if you need. Yeah, that is true. I mean, the kid has a bigger army behind him than any other individual I know in this whole world. For sure.
I got a bigger army than Germany.
You got a bigger army than me. That's for sure. Okay, so all right, we got 10 minutes. So we're going to do some rapid fires, okay?
What does that mean?
Your mama left her phone in here because I just heard it.
I thought she was farting.
No, it's her phone. Mom's not even in here. Okay. I had a good question for you. I really did. It was going to be a good one, too. Oh, do you have your own personal ghost story?
Yes.
Tell everybody a true one.
Okay.
Or your make-believe one.
I'll tell you a make-believe one, but this is gonna scare the crap out of all y'all.
Well, let's do a real one. We can do campfire stories on another podcast. Does that work?
Yeah. All right,
So
but
do you have a real paranormal experience that you would like to talk about?
does cryptids work too?
Yeah.
Okay. So while Daddy is gone, I'm gonna tell you guys a spooky story.
Somebody's texting her.
Well, he's back. But like I said, I'm going to tell you guys a scary story that actually happened, and this is my very own Bigfoot encounter. So, I was probably 5 or 6. We were camping in, I can't remember where it was, but it was some park, and we had that camper.
With us or with Nene?
It was with Nene.
Okay.
We weren't really camping, we were glamping.
Okay.
So, I heard a banging outside. I was inside the glamper, and I heard the banging outside, and I just ignored it because I thought it was. There were neighbors, and they had some pretty rowdy kids, so I figured they were out there throwing basketballs or something. I don't know. It sounded like basketballs, and then when I went to sleep, it got louder. And I opened the curtain, and I saw this big hairy thing running back into the woods. And I got so scared, I fell off whatever I was sleeping in. I can't remember if it was a couch or something, but I didn't tell Nana because she wouldn't believe me. She would not believe me if she saw it.
That's a wild story.
It was. It was very wild.
Story.
It scared the crap out of me.
I can imagine so.
Because I was little, and I still thought Bigfoot was that hairy guy who come to ask you to pay your taxes.
Okay. That was a good story.
It was a good story.
That was a real good story. That was a real good one. All right. Is there anything else you want to close out? Something that we have not talked about that you would like to? Give me the subject first, and I'll tell you if we got enough time for it.
All right. So, this subject is, I would like to ask everybody in the comments if they have ever had any cryptid encounter, and I would like you to share it in the comments.
But we don't have time for that one.
Well, I'll just...
You can ask them if they've had an encounter, but...
Have any of you guys in the comments had an encounter with any kind of cryptid, any spirit? If so, I would like you to tell me when and what kind it was.
Okay.
If it was cryptid, you tell me what you think it was or what you were for sure it was. If you were spirit, you tell me if it was evil or it was Casper.
Yep.
Casper is friendly.
Okay. All right.
And
Well,
while we're
we're
waiting,
well, go ahead.
let's see what Daddy's got to say.
Well, I was just going to ask you, what do you want to be when you grow up? Outside of paranormal, you can include that as well. But what do you want to be when you grow up?
A scientist, obviously. I want to be a scientist that studies everything. I don't want to deal with just like one kind of scientist like paleontology. I want to deal with metaphysical science and all sorts of stuff. Oh, looks like we got some stuff here. Mr. Todd dealt with a spirit and he was Casper. It's good to know. And oh, geez, Miss Courtney, that sounds horrifying.
Sister did. She seen a large, foggy figure with huge, pointy arms, and it floated to her window and moved away when she looked at it. Wow.
Did she say that it felt malevolent, or was it Casper?
Oh, out the mouth of babes. Out the mouth of babes.
Anybody else here got any encounters that they would like to share? Because
Well, okay.
I have a shadow figure story, actually.
Well, why don't you tell them your shadow figure story?
She said it was evil. That is not good. Well, if you need me to come over and whip it with my daddy's belt, I'll do that. So this shadow figure story isn't really scary. The shadow figures just seems like it was just chilling there, and it just wanted it to watch me. Like, it didn't seem like it wanted to be malevolent. It wanted to be friendly. So this story actually happened with you guys.
Okay.
I can't remember where we were, but it was some city. I can't remember where we were. And I saw a large, tall shadow figure. And he looked like he had a little hat on and a scarf. And he just looked at me. And it looked like he raised his hand and tipped his hat at me. And I'm pretty sure that's a sign of respect, so I just carried on walking, and I just didn't really care. I mean, I thought it was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was pretty cool that some random shadow figure showed a sign of respect to me, but
yeah,
I was kind of confused, so I just decided not to speak of it.
There you go. All right, my man. Do you want to? I'm going to close out here in just a second. Do you have any last minute thoughts? Anything you would like to say to the wonderful folks that have been watching?
Well, everybody who's been here, I would like to say that I hope everybody here has a great and wonderful night. Everybody sleep well. Do not let Casper try to smell your pillow, because he tried to do that once. And I hope you all have a great night. Thank you for listening to me, and I'll probably be here another day. I do not know.
And if they want to get in contact with you to interview you, who do they need to call? Call you agents?
No, call Ghostbusters.
If they want to get a hold of you to interview you, they need to call you agents?
Yeah.
Get your people to get a hold of their people?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, everybody have a great night. Thank you for listening to our podcast. This was Twisted Ascensions, and I will see you in the next one.
All right, I'm going to close out,
Okay.
and then I'll let you go in there with Mom, okay?
Okay.
Good show, bud. Good show.
Good show, everybody. Bye,
All right.
Ozzy Rob. Bye, Miss Courtney. Bye, everybody.
He's
bye,
saying
Miss
bye.
Todd. Bye, Mr. Todd. I said Miss Todd.
Anyways, guys, that was tonight's show. Thank everybody so much for coming out, for communicating, for talking, for asking your questions. I'm telling you, y'all just made that dude's whole year. And I'm pretty sure that he's going to be on again. We'll get all that figured out at a much later date. However, it is time for us to come to a close. If you didn't catch all of tonight's show, you can always go back and watch on the WLTK-DB Talk Show Radio, the group, the page. You can also look up Twisted Ascensions. You can watch on Podbean, on the app, on the website. I'm telling you, Todd has 1,000,001 different ways. that you can watch our show or other shows. Because like I said, there's a lot of amazing individuals that are part of this family. It's great. So coming up next here in 15 minutes, you have Todd Show, Haunted Voices. Him and Nicole are going to be interviewing Jacob Rice tonight and Mike Morin. I believe I said his last name correctly. Both of them are filmmakers. They do paranormal documentaries. A lot of great stuff. So make sure you tune in for that coming up next. You can always go to WLTK-DB, the group page, and go to the event tabs, and you can click going or interested on the podcast that you want to listen to at a later date, and you'll always get a notification, and you just click the live when it goes live. It's always a great day here on the show. I always enjoy these nights. We are talking about doing a show next weekend. I'm not sure. I'm going to talk to Todd after this whenever we get off of here. However, it's been a great night. Thanks, everybody. Tune in 15 minutes. And without further ado, Todd, take us out. Everybody have a great night.
The truth is here and now on WLTK-DB Talk Radio at WLTK-DB.com.